If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started.
Well, let's get started. And Chrissy, see if you can bring Jonathan up. He had his hand raised from the get-go, so see if we can get rocking and rolling. Jonathan, you may have to leave and come back in. Lori Lynn, good to see you. Dolores and everyone else. All right. So my name is Levi Lascsak. Welcome to YouTube for Real Estate. And we are here joined by our client success manager, Chrissy Owens, and Jonathan. Jonathan is one of our partners out in California. So first of all, we'd like to start off. Chrissy, how are you today?
Doing great. Had a great weekend and ready to start the day fresh and get some stuff done today.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Jonathan, how are you today?
I'm doing good, boss. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. So
Hey, I accidentally raised my hand, but I just wanted to see how's everybody doing and how's kind of the market shift with going with all like the YouTube and stuff like that. I know I've been getting some calls lately, which is freaking awesome. But I just want to see how's everything going in Dallas.
You're already getting calls?
Yeah, dude. It finally hit. I'm on 2 months and 2 days officially today, and I started getting calls 2 days ago.
Well, awesome. Well, I think that tells you where the market's shifting to. So, actually, since you brought that up, Jonathan, let's talk about that. And because this is a situation that I get this question quite often, which is, well, how do you attract listings, Levi? Because aren't you a little buyer heavy? Well, yeah, we are buyer heavy, and that is where you do attract a lot of buyers. But again, my point to that is always, well, you don't have to work with every single buyer. You don't have to work with buyers if you don't. I mean, if you're a solo agent, first of all, that's great referral business if you really don't want to work with buyers. But at the same time, if you're a team lead or a broker or have a team to help out, I believe these are the absolute best buyer leads you could give to your team. And we know they're extremely intentional. They move quickly. Our contact under contract for us is 46 days. So that's not a lot of time that people spend kicking the tire around. And the other thing is the reality of that is that it's likely more like a week or two if we broke it down to when people actually came into town, because even though our average is 46 days, most of our people takes them 30 days or so, or even longer sometimes, to even plan a trip here. Now, we do contract with people over the phone quite often, which is another great thing about that. You actually have to show them through a lot of homes. We will contract with them, and then they will fly down during their option period and check out, do the walkthrough at that time. And that was really critical, especially in the past market, because if somebody saw a house they liked and then flew down, even if it was the next day, most of the time it was under contract. Now they're probably going to have a little bit more leeway and a little more flexibility on that. But the thing is that still getting that home, you don't want them to waste a trip. So I would still encourage anybody, if you're working with somebody long distance, is go ahead and contract on that home if they find what they like, and then have them fly down during the option period and to take a look at it at that time. And then they can always back out there. But the thing is that we survived this whole time in what was labeled as a seller's market with the buy side, and I believe I should run the numbers. So we're about to break over 200 transactions, in the last 14 months, from YouTube. Now, 90% of that, yes, on the buy side, but at the same time, we have amazing team members, local team members. Some of them are in here, like Zach and Alyssa, that are crushing it, with these clients. Zach just recently, over this last weekend, put a deal under contract within about 3 days. Client came in on a Friday, and he had them under contract within 3 days. Now, I think Alyssa just put another one under contract yesterday or the day before. So, and in this last week, we had another one of our newer agents. She just dropped 2 contracts this last week. So, or actually this weekend. I think she dropped one Friday and yesterday. And Marina, she's usually in here. Marina, so she dropped one or a couple within a 5-day period on top of that. And then who else we had? Well, we had a couple other team members drop contracts as well. So over in the last week, we've still done, you know, 7 or 8 contracts just in the last week. So everyone's saying the market is shifting, and buyers are backing out and they're leaving. But I believe this is the really important factor of having the content out there. If you don't have content out there, you'll never be found. I mean, nobody will never or hardly ever know who you are. And if you live in any type of relocation market, which is pretty much, well, it could be, it's pretty much anywhere. I mean, it's amazing how even California and like Seattle markets, where we see a lot of people coming from, are still hot markets. Now, they might be dying down a little bit right now or cooling off, but I believe the agents with the most content out there are going to win in these times. If you're consistent with your content, you're going to be consistent with your clients. At least the client flow, because people buy and sell regardless, all the time. They buy and sell in sellers market, they buy and sell in buyers markets, they buy and sell in up markets, they buy and sell in down markets. Transactions are happening all the time. But it's when we get inconsistent with content or inconsistent with marketing, I believe, is where, you know, things start to that's when the market shifts for us. So it's our job, I believe, as agents, to keep that, you know, content and marketing efforts consistent. What's interesting is I was this conference we were at last week. You know, I think one of the things they showed was that where most agents really grew their business a lot of times were during these. Now they're saying we're about to, you know, move into a recession, which we could move into an economic recession. Doesn't mean we're going to move into a housing recession. You know, a lot of agents, this is where this is where the riches are made as well, is in recessions. This is where the people that have the money, first of all, to invest. It's a great time to do that. But it's, second of all, if you have the budget for marketing, this is where you double down, in my opinion. This is why we're doubling down on content. This is why we're going to stick to videos a week regardless. Now, we scaled back to 2 videos a week the first 3 months of the year, and that's mainly because we had several videos that started to just take off. I mean, it was we didn't have that happen in the first year. Everything was very steady Eddie, very steady, consistent growth. And then November, December, January, February, pretty much every video we put out just took off. It got picked up by YouTube. YouTube was recommending it. You know, we had one of our videos about Frisco go to 40,000 views within a month and a half. And that was really driving a lot of business. We did 90 transactions in the first 90 days. Now, the thing is that the second quarter, we definitely did not hit the 90 transaction mark in this 90 days. And okay, so I got to look back. I'm never going to blame the market. I'm never going to say, okay, what are the outside forces? I'm always going to look inward. I'm going to say, what did we do? What did we not do? What did we do differently? What changed? Well, the thing is that, instead of riding that momentum and putting out 3 videos a week, which I don't know if that would have changed anything if we would have stayed consistent on the 3 videos. But again, we hadn't had videos take off like that before, so I wanted to watch and learn from the experience. And I was thinking, okay, well, if I put out another one just 2 days later, would that stunt the growth? I don't believe that would be the case, but at the same time, it was just one of those things where I had to experiment and had to really take a look at what was happening. Now, did that momentum of taking off, going from 3 to 2 videos a week, kind of, I guess, throttle, you could say, or slow down that our growth in the second quarter? I don't know. Possibly. Is the market shifting? Sure, but I don't. The thing is also, in the last 2 weeks, I know that we're getting to business as normal. I mean, we've seen people come in, we've seen people make decisions, we've seen people contract and buy homes regardless of interest rates or anything like that. Now we are seeing it's a lot easier. listing agents are a lot more conversational, a lot more happy to talk to us, as to where 6 months ago it was very difficult to get one on the phone. But the thing is that what made us survive over the last year was, number one, my partner Travis, the best, the absolute best real estate negotiator I've ever seen in my life. And then for him to be able to pass those skills on to the team members as well, to help them negotiate with these listing agents. So now, now that if this moves into a buyer's market, I know right now we have all the buyers. We have them. I mean, so it's just a matter of when they're ready to start drop. We're not gonna force anybody or tell anybody they have to buy now. It's still their decision. Now we're going to, communicate with them. One of our goals over the last 2 weeks, what we're doing with our team right now is that, and we actually turn this into a contest, is to go back. We have a huge database now of all the people that have called into the channel. And I ran the numbers in 13 months and I just ran it from April of last year when we got the first two deals under contract. April of last year through May of 2022, we generated 1,672 leads. 1,672 leads. And in that time frame, we did 187 transactions. So we converted at 11.3%. But those leads, clearly, we didn't close 187 out of 1,672. That means we've got like 1,500, roughly 1,500 leads in our database now from people that called us wanting to work with us and get information about moving. A lot of those people last year said they were going to wait. So now that's the challenge we're doing with our team right now, is to see who can get the most Zoom calls scheduled, or actually conduct the most Zoom calls, because we know face-to-face is always going to solidify relationships. So we move people. We have a pipeline system where we move people through a process. And if they tell us, well, hey, we're still interested in moving to Dallas, but something came up, family, business, job, something like that, something came up outside of them, and it's just not the right time, we move them to what we call an active conversation, which means we still want to keep an active conversation with them, but they're not in the market right this second. So that's a campaign. It's a 2-year campaign we built out to reach out to them every 3 to 4 weeks. We kind of change it up, and it's just little check-in text messages and emails here and there. Hey, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Hey, anything new in your world? Hey, there's some interesting updates on the market. Would you like to chat? So we built all that out to hopefully trigger responses. But now, we have a lot of people. Actually, I could just pull what we have in there, but there's a ton of leads in there, right, that our team can go back to, and we gave them a simple script, and the whole goal is to just get them on a Zoom. That's it, period. Nothing else. We're not going to try to close them. We're not going to try to convince them they need to buy right now. The only goal is just get them on a Zoom, get them face to face. We did provide 5 slides, that help people understand. We're going to just educate. We're going to provide value. We're going to have conversations as far as, this is what's happened in the last 8 out of 9 recessions. In the last 8 out of 9 recessions, housing still appreciated, still went up. Only one of those was an actual housing recession, which was 2008. So the other recessions were economic recessions, but still, housing being one of the best assets out there, still gained value, still appreciated. And, the thing is that over time, it still is one of the absolute best investments, as over time. So, just to have those conversations. So that's the goal, is to go back through all of our old leads. So we have a column for active conversations that are people that are interested, but just, something came up, so timing wasn't right. We have a ghosted campaign. So if we're talking to anybody and they ghost us, I'm sure that's never happened to anybody in this room. But if you get ghosted by a client, we don't want our agents, we don't want our team to spend the next week or two chasing somebody down. I mean, it's important, but at the same time, we also don't want to hammer people to death. So we just say, well, hey, if you're in a conversation with people and then all of a sudden they disappear, just move them to the ghosted campaign. And then we have that scheduled out to where it'll hit them 3 days in a row, and then it moves to it gives them like a 2 or 3 day break, and then it gives them another 2 or 3 day break, and then then it kind of backs off to a week, but it's still automated messages, that they look legit, right? Looks like we wrote them. They're just checking in. Hey, hope all is well. Hey, just wanted to make sure everything was okay. Hey, just wanted you to know that I'm here. I'm not sure what if I missed your call or something. So so just little messages to try to you get a reaction. And we've had the ghosted campaign work on getting a lot of people back into contacts, but there's people there that had completely ghosted us. So why not go back and let's try to touch base with them again. And then we have an old lead column where we move them to, which is where it's like the lead graveyard kind of, but that's where, people just tell us, hey, we're not moving. Our company is not going to move us. Basically they just said, look, we're not going to move after all, period. Okay. So we move them over. We don't want to lose contact with them or anything like that, but still there's a lot of people in that old lead column that we can dig back into now and reach out to, and just again see how they're doing, but also let them know. And I think our script, very simply, the text script to get them on a Zoom is something like, hey, just checking in to see how you're doing. There's some interesting updates in the Dallas market right now. I would love to share them with you. Would you have a few minutes to jump on a Zoom call? And so we're just simply just sending out that script so that it's triggering people to respond and say, yeah, I would like to jump on a Zoom call. It's not pushy. It's not salesy. It's not in a way to, get anything on. It's just simply to get them on a face-to-face Zoom. Let's have a conversation, share with you a few of these slides, show them some data, and, see where they're at, see where they're at in the process right now. But we still have calls coming in where people are reaching out still every day for us, because number one, they see that we're consistent. This is something that I've always stressed with people as well. If you get found any way, I believe this day and age, if you found one way or another, and that could be on social, it could be some other way. Maybe you get somebody refers you, or you sent out postcards last month or something. I think where people are going to vet you is on social media. And if they see inconsistency on social media, I believe people assume that you'll be inconsistent in your business. I think people are looking for, agents that are on top of their business. They're posting consistent content. If you're posting consistent content, that means you're busy. You have business, and people like to work with people that have business. Not a lot of people like to work with people that are need the business. They want your business, but they want to work with people that are the best at what they do. And the people that are the best at what they do are the best because they've gone through multiple transactions. This was the whole point of, whenever I started on YouTube, I wasn't the best agent. I'm actually still not the best agent. But the thing is that nobody comes to me for me to be the best agent. They come to me because I have the information on Dallas. Now, the thing is though, and that's why I believe you should build out your marketing plan first before getting into real estate, then trying to memorize a contract or every amendment or addendum, or trying to educate people on the title process or the escrow process. I mean, that's not what people are. They're not necessarily looking for that information at first. If they are, they're probably already under contract with somebody else. But what people are looking for is information. But the thing is that when I started out, I didn't want to make content on that stuff, because in my research I found that it wasn't really as searchable, and it's not most of it didn't have a lot of views. But also I couldn't intelligently speak on it, like I mean, because I hadn't gone through that process. I hadn't if I don't have any clients yet or hadn't closed a deal, how can I just felt like, how could I really, really, teach somebody about the escrow or the title process or the appraisal process? I mean, other than just what I read. And I always like to really teach from experience versus just, not experience. So I thought, well, I've lived in Dallas for 20 years. I know Dallas. I can talk about Dallas all day long. I'm an expert in Dallas. That I can absolutely share and educate with people. Plus, again, in my research beforehand, that's what I found people were looking and searching for anyways. And the great thing is that when people are searching for that information on your cities and your suburbs and your neighborhoods, they're in the research phase. They haven't even thought about hiring a real estate agent or a mortgage broker at this time. They're in research. They're just trying to find out information. But we're the ones that show up over and over and over and over again whenever they search Dallas on YouTube. And so that makes us look like the authority, you know, uh, by default. And so therefore, if they continually consume the content, as long as that's good content, then you will become their agent by choice, because they will develop a relationship with you. They will find value in what you're offering them, and they will want to do business with you. And if they don't, they probably won't call you. And that's what I also love about this is we're in a zero rejection business. I mean, that is the number one reason why people get out of sales, why people get it's one of the top reasons people get out of real estate, is because of the rejection, because they're prospecting 90% of the time to do sales 10% of the time. And that 90% of the time, they're getting rejected 88% of the time, before they find the right person that is willing to talk to them or work with them. And so has ever called us to tell us they didn't want to work with us. Nobody has called us and said, hey, your videos suck so bad, we don't want to work with you. Okay, if they don't want to work with us, they don't call us. And you know what? We'll never know they exist. So the people that do call us, though, every single time they're pretty much like, man, I've watched a ton of your videos. I love them. Love what you guys offer. And so we want to work with you, period. It's really that simple. So I believe in this market, getting back to Jonathan's question, this market, it is shifting, but markets are always shifting. And it's the agents that adapt and, look at themselves and what they can do differently are the ones that are going to succeed. And I truly believe the agents with the most content and consistent content out there are going to be the ones that win, not just in this market, but any market. So that, to me, is how you position yourself and how you get in front of any changes, because we're not seeing. Now, I will say, yes, whenever things shifted like end of May, June, right there, we had like a 3-week period. Calls kind of slowed down, but we still had calls coming in. We were still putting deals under contract. Wasn't as fast as the first 90 to 120 days of the year, but we had about a 2 or 3 week little slowdown right there, and that was it. But as we kept on with the content, and that's where I also said, no, we're doubling down. We're going back to 3 videos. That's what I went to. I defaulted to myself. What am I doing? What am I doing differently? What are we doing? What can we do differently? How do we change? And I just know, okay, it's 3 videos a week. That's what we're going to commit to, and we're not going to deviate from that. And so double down on the content to keep that out there, and that's what we're doing. Now we are experimenting with a couple of paid strategies right now, looking into that. And because now we have the budget, and some our I would say our claim to fame is the fact that we were able to do this without any ad spend. But we have a team now. We have a budget. When we started, we didn't have a budget, and so now we have the ability to do that. And so we want to grow, and we want to continue to see if we can throw gasoline on the fire. I mean, the fire is burning bright right now for us, but why not? Why not venture into some paid strategy? Now, we're doing some things that are untraditional, I believe, and those are a couple of strategies that once we figure out if they work, I think it'll take us 90 days or so to really fully understand if they're successful or not. We know they're working right now as far as generating some leads, but I want to see, are they good quality leads? Are they similar to YouTube leads? But there's a way to do that. Now, we don't run ads from our channel, and that I don't recommend. So we're doing a couple of things inadvertently, and sorry to throw that out there. I don't want to explain it or get into it now. Just something to keep an eye out for. If we figure out that it works, and everything comes to it, and we figure out how to really throw gasoline on this fire, it's going to be a game changer. It'll be game over at that point, because we were able to generate quite a bit of business organically, and if we can enhance that, with some paid strategy and not affect the channel. And the reason we don't run ads from the channel is because it will inflate subscribers, it will inflate views, and it will drive a lot of people that are not the target market. And I don't want to compromise that. So I would still recommend anybody starting out to continually focusing on the organic strategy. And for those that have gotten our course, they know exactly what that is. And because we walk you through that, excuse me. And so stay on that path. And as business grows and as you expand, you'll know when the right time is and when you can afford or are willing to spend the money. But hopefully at that time we have it figured out on that side, and we'll be able to share that with our people. So that would be pretty awesome. So hopefully, Jonathan, does that kind of answer your question? If he's still there, might have.
Yes, that answered. My bad. Sorry, but yes, you did, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Well, hey, guys, this is an open forum as always, so please feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage. If you have anything you'd like to add, contribute, ask, that's what we're here for. We do this room for you. So feel free to come up and let us know if you have any questions or if you have any contributions or successes, anything that's gone on. Chrissy, what else what's come up recently as far as some topics of discussion that we could keep the conversation going on?
Yeah, for sure. We've had a lot of people have asked about like niching down and how far is too far to niche down. Where's that happy medium in terms of the type of content that we do and the type of people that we target? Because a lot of times we tend to target the buyers and kind of mix in the sellers, but why is it that we don't target both sides of the business for people who also recruit to teams? How far is too far to niche down is a question we've gotten a lot.
So niching down on, like they're saying they niche down on recruiting agents or finding sellers only. Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
just kind of in general, we get questions about people who are wanting to recruit, and so they want to do content on both sides of the business on the channel. And then we also get people who, they want to target buyers and sellers on the channel, and they wonder if mixing those types of content, those types of videos, is a good idea or not. So maybe just kind of generally speaking, how far is too far to niche down with our content?
Well, I mean, if you're, targeting buyers and sellers, I think you can do both on the channel. Just initially, what we have found is that a lot of local people, we're in Dallas. Not a lot of Dallas people, I believe, go to YouTube to search for their real estate agent, right? Or to search for information on the local neighborhoods or areas because they know them, right? So I think that's the biggest challenge to gaining sellers in general on YouTube. But because any seller information, in my research, and we've tried a couple as well, just they don't do that well on the view side. I mean, they don't really generate a lot of business or views. And not saying that can't happen. I'm just saying that what I've seen on other channels and also, what we've experimented with. Now, I think if you want to generate sellers, then you need to have some very well done listing videos, and that comes with production. I don't think that is a selfie stick, walking around neighborhoods or walking around the house with the selfie stick, kind of like the way we teach it. That's very easy to do, for just to provide that information. Walk around town feels like you're just walking beside somebody, learning about everything. And that's great for relocation because that's what they're looking for. That's the information they're trying to find. But if you want to attract sellers, then you need to add that into your channel. And I think the way you do that is, but you got to have production. And I think that's where a videographer comes in, and that's going to cost additional money. And then also you're going to want to have consistency on listings as well. Now, for some people, that won't be a problem at all to generate, to have their listings to film and do that. So that's one way to do it, I believe. And Or, one of the paid strategies we're working on is to target sellers. And again, that's a whole nother discussion. If we can work on that, that would be a way to do that. But organic, I mean, I think you have to have really high level production with the videographer, very nicely done listing videos, and that will generate that. And that's but still, you've got to find people that are searching, on YouTube in their local market. And I don't believe that a lot of people typically do that. Now, not to saying that you can't generate that, uh, but you absolutely can. I mean, I believe you can create anything that you want to. It's really just a matter of time and how consistent you stay. It's task on time. That's what it comes down to. I believe you can be successful. Uh, you know, Staying consistent in the amount of time that it takes it, but everybody's different, right? So Jonathan's taught 2 months in, and now starting to get multiple calls, so a little quiet from there. For us, we had our first call within 30 days, and they started to trickle in more after that. But for the first 30 days, nothing. Okay, Jonathan, it took 2 months. We got a team we've helped out in Houston. They got a call within 6 days and put a deal under contract within 3 weeks. And now their channel's just at 90 days, and they've already put 6 deals under contract. They've already closed on a couple of those, but I know they contracted on 6 already. And so, in the first 90 days, that's the fastest we've ever seen it happen. So everything is market does matter. Consistency does matter. Number of videos per week do matter. So if you want to grow faster, you do 3 videos a week, period. If you're putting out 1 video a week right now, you're going to grow slow. 2 videos a week, you're going to grow medium. 3 videos a week, you're going to grow faster. But also, the consistency is, I believe, when people come to your channel, if there's gaps, if there's weeks in between, or you haven't posted in a couple of weeks, I just think that's not a good sign for people to see that. And so you run that risk as well. Now, as far as recruiting or building a team or agent attraction, whatever it is you want to call it, I believe that's a completely separate channel. So that is a niche. That is nothing that relates to anybody searching for real estate information at all whatsoever. So if I came to your channel and I'm looking for information in your city or the neighborhoods, and the first video I see is, how to pass your real estate exam, or, why you should join me at my brokerage. Yeah, I don't know. I think you run the risk of losing that person, and they may say, well, this channel is not for me. This is for real estate agents, and vice versa. If you have, if you're mixing that type of content, and I'm a agent looking for training information, and I find your video on a neighborhood tour, I'm not going to think you're probably a training channel. I'm going to think, this is a real estate channel. Now I might watch it from, I want to learn how to do real estate on YouTube, but I'm probably going to look or search the rest of the channel for real estate training or education or anything like that. So I do believe that is completely separate, a completely different audience. And so that would probably be a second channel. But ideally, I would say focus on, it's easier to build your team and recruit when you have volume, or when you have production, or especially if it's going to be local, when you have something to pass on to them, So, for us on our secondary channel, we didn't start that until 6 months later, I believe. And so, just timing, it does take additional work. There is additional content. Now, the thing is that I don't really have to create specific content for that channel, because we document so much all the time that you'll see that if anyone's ever on my Instagram, or if you're on our Real Agents YouTube channel, you'll see we put out a lot of short form content. That's just to stay consistent, and that's the type of stuff that I'm creating all the time, because we document everything. Now, there's long form content we as well, whether it's speaking engagements or trainings or things like that. And I think that's really helpful for people. We get a lot of good feedback on that. But even just posting a 30-minute Q&A session that we did on Zoom, that's helpful for people. They can go to the YouTube channel. We have a whole playlist on Q&As, So if you've ever had any question, that's a great resource to go into the Real Agents YouTube channel, look at that playlist for Q&As. I think we've got 30 videos just in that one playlist, 30 videos. And I think all of those are not even less than 30 minutes each, so we answer a lot of questions on trainings all the time and here, so yeah, the resources are there. And so, yeah, niching down, I mean, I believe in that, because that is just like if you were, if you wanted to focus on 55 plus communities, I mean, your vibe attracts your tribe. Like attracts like. The content you make will create or generate the business that you want to achieve. So if you want to focus on 55 plus communities, I mean, you make all your content around 55 plus communities. If you want to focus on college housing or investments or things like that, I mean, I think there's all kinds of things you can do. Now we haven't targeted a lot of investors, but I think that's something that I'm kind of chewing on right now and thinking about, as far as making some more investor friendly videos, because I did one once before and it's done very well, and we got several investors to call us from that. So and I'm thinking now, okay, I see another way to do that, especially if prices are, if we're going to see some price decreases and multiple offers die down to not as many offers or no offers on some properties. I think now is a great time to target investors. That's why I've been chewing on it and thinking about how to create some great content for the channel, not, not turn it into an investment channel, but could I throw in a video once a week or every other week? What kind of schedule could I get on to start making some more investor friendly videos? And I know exactly what I want to do, at least what I believe I want to do, and how I could do that. So now it's just a matter of kind of mapping that out and creating a video, and then we'll see how it does. And that's something else. I think Jonathan bounced out, but that's something else that I'm preparing for in the next few months, because if prices get, if we start seeing the prices leveling out and multiple offers not being as much, great time for investors to, here. Now, a lot of people say they're going to leave the market right now, but again, the right people buy at all times of it, and you make your money when you buy. So it doesn't matter what type of market it is. There's always a deal to be found. And even a year ago, actually, Zach is a great example in here again. Zach, in the height of the seller's market, right? Zach got a home locked in, closed on it, of course, but contracted 15,000 under asking price. I mean, how does that happen when in Dallas we're seeing on average, 20, 25 offers per home? So that's what we're up against. But, because of the negotiation skills and the effort that he put into that deal, was able to get it 15,000 under list in the height of that market last year, or at the beginning of this year. I'm not sure when he contracted on that. It was probably December, January, February timeframe. But still, things were going nuts, and multiple, and here we come in. So the thing is that there's always a deal to be found, always a deal to be had. And so it's a matter of just continually staying in the game and doubling down. Last year, I just saw the stat this morning. Last year, 60% of the real estate agents did not sell a home. That is crazy. And that's not because they're not good people. It's not because they studied everything about real estate and learned the contract and made an A++ on the real estate exam. It's because they're not effective at lead generation, period. That's why people fail and get out of the business. That's why 60% of the agents last year didn't sell a home, because they're not effective at lead generation. But agents will stay consistent, will be top performers, not just in this market, the previous market, the market going forward, or any market, is because they're consistent. They're consistent on content and marketing. And now's the time to double down. And who knows, you might find better deals on marketing right now. If you are paying for it, you're probably going to find better deals, because a lot of people will be jumping out. They'll be scaling back on marketing. They'll be thinking about how to spend less and thinking about how do we spend more, or how do we move into, I mean, we've done this organically. So now we're like, okay, well, how do we spend money on marketing and make it effective right now and continue with the same strategy that has helped us be successful? So those are the questions that we're asking ourselves. And, how do we fit and shift and adapt ourselves to fit the market we're in? I just call it a market. I mean, really, that's the way I view it. I mean, everyone says the last year was a seller's market, but we won deals left and right. I mean, we got great deals for our clients. So, the thing is that our position is to help our client, whether they're buying or selling, to get the best possible price, no matter what. Period. And that's our job to do that. So the market is the market, and we just have to work and make those deals happen. So going back to niching down, yeah, I would niche down. You're either focused on real estate clients or you're focused on real estate agent, clients or team members or attracting, or, and in real estate, you can niche down even more if you want to focus on lakefront communities and you live near 2 or 3 lakes, then I would niche down on that. I mean, even in Dallas, you make content on the areas you want to work. I haven't made any content on pretty much anything south of Dallas. It's just not an area we're looking to work, and plus we know where all the growth is. And that's the other thing, is putting ourselves in front of the opportunities. Well, if everybody's moving north and going to those areas, then that's where I'm going to create a lot of content. So, that is what it is. It's all strategy. It's all thought out. It's all part of the process. It's all solutions. How do we fix? How do we grow? That's what we're always asking ourselves. How do we pivot and not stay stagnant? How do we not get caught? And how do we not blame everything else? Regardless, we're going to always look at ourselves and what are we doing and what can we do differently.
Yeah, and one thing I was going to say too is, we always tell people, the content that we teach how to create, it's going to work for both buyers and sellers. And the reason why is because the other part of the strategy with being on YouTube is dominating on Google. And so if you're creating content on YouTube, you're going to be one of the first search results on Google. And a lot of sellers, they end up looking for a real estate agent on Google before they go to YouTube. We've had a good chunk of the people that we've listed for that have come through Google My Business. And so that's just a matter of expanding out, expanding your reach, and trying to make your footprint go a little bit farther. And it all starts back with YouTube. So,
Chrissy, are you there? All right. Well, I'm not sure. Somebody hit me up in the chat. Let me know. I want to make sure. I don't know if that was just me or if we. Oh, Zach said can't hear her. Okay. Might have just lost her there for a second. So, all right. Well, then I guess that's all we got. Looks like no other questions for today. So I'm happy to end early and go grab some lunch. And got some meetings throughout the rest of the day. So with that, thank you all for joining us today. We will be back. All right, Seth. What's up, my man, Seth? You coming in here? Coming in at the last second, Seth. What you got? I don't know where you went. Marin. Hey, what's up, Marin? I think I know Marin. I don't know where Seth went, but all right, guys. Well, have a great day. Thank you for joining us today, and we will talk soon.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching all for free, schedule a call at 5starstrategycall.com.